just turn that off. It'll be on. I'll say you have to always be prepared. You never know what could happen here.
You did that so well, Margie, under pressure, because I've had that before, and you're like, oh my God, everybody's watching. And then it's like, can I do this? Can I do this? So I applaud you.
Oh, I have to tell you, I do all these practices and they really work because I really go with the flow. I really do. I honestly, that's why I have to tell you, any of the relaxation things are for anyone in my happiness program. This stuff works so much because I'm always happy. I've always been a happy person, but certainly not relaxed. I had a mother who unfortunately passed away quite young, but she was amazing, brilliant. She ran the Girl Scouts in Rockland County, New York, but she was very much type A, not relaxed. And so that's how I grew up. So I was far from relaxed. And when I got a lot of people know the story, I got a speeding ticket on the way to meditation. Can you imagine? I signed up for an 8-week meditation class, John Kabat-Zinn program, because I felt I really should do this. I went the first time. The second day, I get a speeding ticket on the way to meditation. That was the end of it. That like hit me in the head. You are so not relaxed. You are not practicing what you preached. And that was probably like
Wait,
2010,
honey,
something
don't
like
go
that.
yet.
And so anyway, so after that, I meditate, I journal, I do
Yeah.
all these practices, and it's worked. I honestly
Down,
go
up,
with the flow. Like
here.
things don't, like especially this, like that, not a big deal, but things in general, it's really made a big difference. So I highly recommend any practices that you guys like, just do them. Do them on a regular basis because, and that's what I've seen for people in my programs and things who started doing whatever practices they like. Like they were telling me all of a sudden their kids are noticing you didn't like really jump on me. Like, what happened here? Normally you would, that there's certain things. So it's just a better way to live, is my feeling. Anyway, so right in the chat, Melanie, where's everybody from? Let's put everyone in the chat. I was telling people who came early in New Jersey, the air quality is really bad today. So
There's Arizona, Montana, Minnesota, Northern California, Arkansas, Seattle,
oh, I
Maine,
love it.
San Francisco Bay Area, Annapolis, Palo Alto.
I see a lot of people. Kathy, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Certain people, nice.
Ooh, Honolulu.
We have
Nice.
a lot of pinks. I'm in a purple. I see pinks and purples, a bunch of pinks and purples today. I think we got the memo, right, Sheila? I have a bunch of pinks in the row. Kath in my row. Kathy, Carolina, everybody, a bunch of pinks today. Anyway, so yeah, this should be great. We all know. I don't know how many of you have know Dr. Millman and have been. I always learn things too from these Q&As. I always learn things when I have my own Q&As because people ask such good questions that it really starts making you think, and really it's always I think we all learn from each other and then people contribute. So yeah, if you have something interesting, toss it in chat, while we're doing this. Let's see where if Dr. Melvin, let me check where she is.
Margie, your podcast with that Designs for Health guy was amazing.
Oh my gosh, for those people that don't go on my podcast, this wasn't that incredible. I get requests constantly for guests to be on my podcast. For those who don't know, it's Happy Bones, Happy Life. And I usually, they're just not the quality. Like I'm really picky. But when I got Oscar Coetzee, and he has, Designs for Health came out with these new probiotics that are, it's really incredible. I just couldn't get over how it's helping people. And yes, so just listen to that episode. I'm going to start it myself because I thought it was but it was fascinating because they took what works when they used to do fecal transplants, but that's not safe. They took what works, those certain strains, and they've been seeing so many positive benefits. Really, it's like the new frontier in probiotics. So it was a very exciting. I love podcasts like that when there's really like new information I mean, that's what I always try to get, as much new information as I can. Actually, Dr. Millman's doing one, not next week, but the week after, that we recorded already on what is it called? Now I have a mental block. Where is she? Anyway, on peptides and bone health. That's pretty new
Mhm.
information as well. So that should be really good. Anyway, so yeah, if you ever have really good guests that you think would be great or a topic that you really want to hear about, let me know because I do have access to lots of people and I'm always looking for really interesting topics. So
Margie, what is the name of that Design for Health probiotic that you were just talking about?
called commensal. Trying to think. You know what? As a matter of fact, it came out. It's so if you go to Happy Bones, Happy Life, and just write Margie and Oscar, Dr. Oscar, CO, it's I don't it's Designs for Life. It's called Commensal. There were three of them he talked about for different things, but the main one, and he explains all the different ones. So I would just listen to it because it really
Thank you.
is.
Is it expensive?
I didn't look how much it was. I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm definitely going to. But on my full script, you always get 20% off. So that's always a good thing. So you can put that link, Melanie, in the chat. Melanie is my amazing assistant who's helping us, always helps us out here. So let's see, I'm just gonna text Dr. Millman. See, make sure she doesn't need anything. See here. Okay. Oh, no, that was the thing.
Margie, just a question. Happy Bones, Happy Life. I'm new to this. So is that your
Happy Bones, Happy Life podcast? Yeah. So if you put that in, it's on everything. It's on YouTube. It's even on my website, margiebissinger.com under podcast. And it just came out. So it was just released on Tuesday.
I just put the link in the chat as well.
Oh, you did? Okay. It's in the chat. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you can definitely, it was really interesting. And what I loved about it is that it can help so many people. Normally, if you have, we're big into the GI map to test and see what bacteria, what's the problem, like what's overgrown, where don't you have enough. And so typically if there's problems, you have to do like a killing cycle. But he was explaining that the good bacteria and these different strains are so powerful that you can just put in the good and it can get rid of the bad. I mean,
That's incredible.
yeah, exactly. It's really sounded amazing. It just came out. So this is really new, but he's been using it for a long time. So it's not brand new. And okay, let's see, where is Dr. Millman? I said, are you coming? Otherwise, I'll just do the Q&A with you. I know, she is coming. Anyway, yeah, so that was really, really exciting. Someone today I saw who I know actually came out with something new on a new, I guess it's a new GI. The person who, I don't know for those people who know what a Trontiel is, Dr. Brown, he created this that helps a lot of people with SIBO and extra bloating and things. But anyway, they came out with something new for people who have reflux. So I was thinking I'm just going to write to him because I thought that would be super interesting. And I like him. GI is very, very, very smart. And so he's someone, let's see. Oh, I'm coming, she said. Okay. She'll be here. Anyway, yeah. So if you ever have ideas, let me know because I also every month I have different classes. So if there's ever any ideas that you have or things you want to hear about, let me know because I always am open to finding out what everybody,
Yeah, Margie, have you had Kim Zambito on for REMS?
Oh, about the REMS? No.
You have to have her on. She's
my
great.
feeling REMS is no. I think REMS is a great addition. I don't think it's in lieu of. That's my own opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've heard that. No, I mean, I respect her, and I think she's done a lot of really good things. So yeah, thanks. But yeah, put in the chat if you have anybody interesting. I'm always it's so much fun because then sometimes the best thing, I don't know if anyone, the podcast is just so much fun because you meet all these interesting people and it's just exciting. And I've told a lot of people before, but this is why you have to follow what you believe in your heart. way back. I'm up to what, 360 episodes. Nobody thought I should do a podcast. Everybody was against it. It's so much money and it's work and there's no return on investment. And everybody told me not to do it. And I was like, you know what? I have messages to get out there. And so I'm not listening to one person and I'm going to do it. And I had like free music. I did it as cheap as I could. And only because of the podcast, because companies didn't want me to do a summit. They're like, oh, you don't have big enough lists. And there were all these reasons. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just do a podcast. And only because I did podcast, they liked the podcast and I was able to do the summit that 60,000 people came to. So you never know in life, right? You follow your heart. Anyway, anyone else have anything to say before we get started? Oh, she might be a couple minutes late. So you know what we'll do this. I'm going to start. Says I know she's going to go for a long time. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just stay on. Let me just change the view for a second. Don't unmute because don't mute yet because I'm gonna. For those who haven't been to any of my classes, this is how we start. So I'm just going to change the view for a second. Let me do one other thing. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get us started, and then Dr. Millman will come on. But we have a little thing we do beforehand. Okay, everybody. All right. So, all right, I'm going to introduce the class. Welcome to the Q. Wait, let me just do one more thing. What is this? The meeting is being recorded. Okay. Welcome to today's Q&A with Dr. Kim Millman. And for those who don't know me, I'm Margie Bissinger, physical therapist and integrative health coach. And I've been working with people with osteoporosis for over 30 years. And I've been a physical therapist for over 40 years. Anyway, tonight's going to be full of so much great information. But how I like to start, what I want everybody to do, I'm going to change the view so we all get to see each other, which is really fun. And I'm just going to make sure, is this recorded? Do you guys see recording?
No, I don't see it being
I don't
recorded.
either. Let me start again. This for some reason didn't record. Okay, we'll start again. Good thing I noticed, right? Okay, we're going to start again. I'm going to introduce it again. Welcome everybody to the Q&A with Dr. Kim Millman. And I think most of you know me, but I'm Margie Bissinger. I'm a physical therapist and integrative health coach and been working with osteoporosis for over 30 years. And the good news is there's so much that can be done. And that's what's so exciting. And so let me just change to the gallery for a minute so I can see all of you, which is so fun. And how I always like to start for those people who've never been to any of my programs or classes is I want everybody to put an intention out there that you are going to get something from this Q&A that's going to help your bones, your overall life, something positive that's going to make a difference for you. Okay, so let's all just put that intention out there. So let's do that, get the intention out there. And this also gets good positivity going. So it's a great way to start. And then on the count of 3, we'll just say hi, good energy. Okay, so we just get good energy into this field. So when Dr. Millman gets here, she will be bombarded with this good energy. Okay. Are you ready? So everybody unmute. On the count of 3, we'll just say hi, good energy. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hi,
good energy.
And even if you're watching the replay, just get the energy going. I find it really makes a big difference. So she should be here any minute. She said she had 1 or 2 things going on. She'll be here in a couple of minutes.
I'm here.
Oh, there she is. Well, did you hear our beginning? We got all juiced up, all the good energy.
I did. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to put you with me for a second. And okay, so let me just do one other thing.
I'm excited. I had 2 patients this week tell me, "Oh, we've got a live Q&A this week. I'm so excited. You're coming."
That's what's so fun. I just when someone hears something on a Q&A or whatever, and and then they can change their behavior. But Q&As are so helpful because we get to answer your questions and really, focus on everybody. Sometimes we anticipate what people need, but it's always good.
Well, I think it's amazing that even my patients want to come to their Q&As because I kind of feel like, well, you guys know everything already, but they still want to come.
everybody, I'm gonna give you, I see some people want to record this. I'm gonna give you a record. Tomorrow you'll get a recording of this, so don't worry. And I have found when I let anybody else record it, it messes up my recording. So once it happened once, and I'm like, okay. So, but I promise you, you will get the recording. You don't have to give it back. It doesn't have an expiration date, so do not worry. Oh, let
Yeah,
me
and
make.
we've got some housekeeping too, right? So first of all, I'm already seeing some questions in the chat. So we're going to take on questions where people are raising their hands.
Right. So go raise your hand if you have a question. Raise your hand. Okay.
And then the other thing is this is not medical advice. I am not legally able to give you medical advice. This is purely educational. Don't give me too many details about your particular case. Try to frame things as general as possible. So Dr. Millman, if you had a patient with such, you know, try to keep all the irrelevant details out because that makes it more specific, and then it does feel like I'm giving medical advice, and then there's a certain point at which I'll have to say no. So be we will skirt the line as best as we can, and I always do. But you
Yeah,
got
this works. This is what we found
yeah.
has worked because unfortunately, this has been the whole problem. We want 100 of you, Dr. Millman. We want so many of you because there just aren't people. I mean, Dr. Millman has been practicing an integrative approach to osteoporosis for over 18 years, and there just aren't people that have done this and have the experience. And yeah, and for those who don't know, Dr. Millman and I created a course because we really needed to teach other practitioners how to do this since that was such a problem. So we'll also put that note. Melanie, put that in the chat too, the practitioner. We have a directory of people who've actually, been trained in this method as well. So anyway, so what you need to do is raise your hand. Dr. Millman will call on you. And we will just get started. We also have a dead end time. I'm going to tell them, we never go less than this. So I'm just going to tell you, I have not Dr. Millman. Dr. Millman would be here 5 hours. Am I right? But I've learned that really we get too saturated. So we will be here for 2 hours, but no more. So just know that. And she's going to do the best she can with all the questions. And if we don't get to everything,
Yeah, and someone says the audio keeps freezing. Is everybody finding that?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
okay,
It's
I,
fine.
I have all sorts of cords here so it doesn't freeze. So the replay is perfect. So I'm sorry. Sometimes that happens different places and our air is all
Yeah. Okay, she says it's okay now.
okay. All right. So I'm going to get out of the picture and Dr. Millman will just call on you and you can show your video, unmute, and ask your question.
All
And then
right,
if there's any
Mary
question,
Ann.
put it in the chat also and
If your question is in the chat, raise your hand.
raise your hand. That's the most
It's just
important
too
thing.
hard for me to focus on the chat and somebody who's on screen, so it's just
Exactly.
easier that way. Mary Ann, you're up.
Let me just change this for a second. I'm not going to pin you. I have to fix you, Dr.
And when I
Millman.
call you, go ahead and take yourself off mute.
I have to fix this thing for 1 second.
Hi, Mary Ann.
Hi
Maybe-
there. Thank you for taking me. I wanted to know what drug you use after doing Evenity.
Ah, okay, good question. Excellent question. Okay, so what I expect is usually I'm finding like a 10 to even 18%, probably not 18, maybe 16% increase in the lumbar spine with Evenity, but not much of an increase in the hips. So if the hips are still negative 3.5 after Evenity, then it's reasonable to follow Evenity with Prolia because Prolia can do a good job at the hips. And that's a perfectly good way to go is Evenity into Prolia. And then make sure that with Prolia, that the rebound is meticulously handled. Only 3 injections, which is a 1.5-year course, and it has to be followed by IV reclast and maybe even a little bit of Fosamax with IV reclast if the rebound is really intense. But usually with the 1.5 years on Prolia, the rebound is pretty reasonable. It's when the longer and longer on Prolia, the more rebound you get. But that's the way I would go.
Okay, and if the hips aren't a problem,
Mhm.
then what would you put somebody on? Like Fosmax or
Probably reclassed.
reclass? Okay, great. I have one other question if I'm permitted to ask two.
Well, I would like actually to have us come back around to
Okay.
you if it just so that everybody can ask at least one. And I'm realizing I better plug in before too long here. Okay. All right. We'll try to get back to you, Marianne.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Diane?
Hello. I just recently heard about lympha treatments. I've been doing Onera, but I just heard about lympha treatments. I know the machines or the studies came out of Italy,
Mhm.
and not very many, but a few clinics are offering them. Do you think they can make a good supplement or not? And thank you.
I don't know that much about lympha. We just heard, we being Margie and I, one of our graduates has a lympha machine that she has in her, she has an OsteoStrong location. And, the study data looked promising, but I can't say that I've looked at the primary literature, and I don't really like to make a call until I do that. I know the machines are quite expensive. It looks like it's a kind of a pulsed PEMF device. Like most PEMF devices are just it's just a certain frequency and a certain wavelength and frequency, and there's not a pulsation where that changes. And in lympha, it looks like it changes. So that's a very interesting kind of device. But I think it may be worth a try. I am a big believer in PEMF, so it's very possible, very plausible. Hey, Margie, would you want to do you have anything?
Yeah, no, I'm the same way with you. Until I really research something and really make sure that it's, that it's very effective and there's good studies on it, I don't recommend it yet. So it looks like it has potential, but we really don't know. And what we do know, though, with all of this is we do know that exercise, there's so many amazing benefits from exercise. And so, all these additions may help that as well. But sometimes people think, oh, I'll do that in lieu of, but never in lieu of. It's only in addition to, unless you can't.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with that. Yes. Wendy?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, so loved your recent podcast episode with Margie on can you reverse on osteoporosis naturally? And you mentioned several case studies with women who were at least 10 years postmenopausal that you actually put on HRT.
I
So I
do.
was wondering what your process is to determine if somebody is post 10 years, which they were telling us not to do that.
Yeah.
What's your process of determining if they can go on HRT, especially if they haven't been on it?
Yeah, so risk stratification is absolutely essential when anybody's going on HRT. So, the first thing I'm looking at personal history of any kind of female cancer, uterine, ovarian, or breast. I'm looking at family history. I'm looking at dense breasts. And then there's an American Cancer Institute breast cancer risk tool, and I remember part of the URL is BC Risk. But that's American Cancer, either association or I think probably American Cancer Association. And you run through that tool And if a person comes up a lifetime, or not lifetime, but it's either next 3 years or next 5 years, if the percentage is 5% or less, then from that perspective, they're a good candidate. And then I also go to it's a cardiovascular risk calculator as well, and making sure that that person is, for a 10-year risk of heart attack or stroke, that they're less than, I think it's 10%. And so if they meet those two criteria, they don't have a personal history, and then they are willing to do all of the things that I require in my practice for surveillance, which is yearly mammograms, 1 to 1.5 year pelvic ultrasounds to make sure that the endometrium isn't proliferating, and then also doing a Dutch test every year. So I look at estrogen metabolites. Then, if that person, after all of that, knows all of the evidence, so they have to go through my module on know your risk, know all the studies that I require them to know. And then if they are okay with taking that risk, because the risk is absolutely not zero, but we don't think that it's high either. It certainly is not as high as the original WHI study showed. And there is the thing about the timing hypothesis, and I'm very careful about that. So I have a lower estradiol blood target level for someone who's older than someone who's younger. And so if they are all okay accepting that risk, then I will offer BHRT. But I'm very cautious.
Yeah, it sounds great that you're very conservative. Would you consider vaginal estradiol HRT, and do you believe it is systemic? Because people say it stays within the vagina, but then I'm hearing that it could be more systemic than they think.
So I would say that every gynecologist across the United States would give any woman vaginal estradiol. Now, maybe if she had a personal history of a female cancer, no, but other than that, even just conventional OB-GYNs will give vaginal estradiol, because the thought is that it's mostly going to stay local and not go systemic. It's not going to pull up the estradiol level that much, because I actually do so much testing on the sensitive estradiol that I can see a woman go from maybe negative or less than 2.5, which was the very, very bottom of the sensitivity range. And they might go up to, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 picograms per mil, which is certainly a little tiny bit, but it's not enough to get somebody into bone supporting range. Although it can be very helpful for women with menopausal urogenital symptoms, and also a little bit for libido as well. So it can be very, very helpful to women, and I encourage all my patients to consider it if they have those kind of issues, especially women with recurrent UTIs and not as good for incontinence. A little bit, it helps a little bit with incontinence, but it does help with recurrent UTIs.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Naomi?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I haven't had the CTX done for several years, and I just had one done now. It's called the collagen type 1C telepeptide, and my result is 721. And I was wondering, I don't know if that's good, bad, indifferent. What is a good range for that
All
test?
right, so I'm going to teach you, because you are absolutely asking me to interpret your CTX, right? Okay, so I'm going to teach you. So it would be very appropriate for you to ask me what the optimal range is for CTX,
Yeah,
because
that's a,
I don't
yeah, I
really
wanted
need to, I don't really need to know that your CTX was 721. I don't really need to know that you haven't had a CTX for a while.
Yeah,
I
I
will
want to
give you the optimal range for CTX. It's 250 to 350. And in between 350 to 400 is a little bit of a gray area, but over 400, most likely people are losing bone above 400.
thank you. That's
So
what I
just
wanted
just
to
make it
know.
very general next time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Renee?
Hello, thank you.
Hi.
Love your work. This is a lab draw question. On the
Okay.
day of your lab, whether you're having a hormone panel or a thyroid panel, fasting early in the morning as possible, no B vitamins. Do you have your patients take their thyroid med or put on their cream or take their estrogen?
Yeah, so that's actually a really, really good question because I do for thyroid, I always want to know the trough, and I always just want them not to take thyroid medication in the morning. But for estrogen cream and testosterone cream, I like to know both sometimes. So I like to know the low point and I like to know the high point. And the low point is you don't take your cream in the morning. Progesterone is okay. It's very short-lived. It doesn't carry over very much to the next day at all. So you can always take progesterone. And then the peak is you take the cream in the morning and then you wait until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's your peak.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes I want to know the peak, sometimes I want to know the trough. And
Mhm.
then if somebody is on a patch, you want to try to get it midway. So
Mhm.
that's where the most steady state time is for you to take it. And so if it's like 1.5 days during a 3-day cycle, that
Mhm.
should be
Mhm.
mid peak, mid cycle.
Okay. And then the thyroid med, so you would want to draw that as early as you possibly can. Like if the lab not taking it, if or does it matter?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. I mean, I like to see it in a fasting state. Yeah,
Mhm.
and as early as you can. Yeah, I don't want to see it at 1 o'clock. If somebody's intermittent fasting and they're doing it at 1 o'clock, I'd rather see it at like 8 to 10 in the morning,
Okay,
something like that.
great. I've had some controversy with local providers I'm trying to train, and I'm like, how, as far as getting the labs that I think are good. So,
Well, they're different
yeah.
questions, right?
Mhm.
So when you do it with the when you take your thyroid medication and then you go into the lab, you're asking what do I look like after I take thyroid medication? So that's more of a peak level again, right? You're
Right,
doing a
right.
peak and a trough. And sometimes if I'm trying to figure out especially in an older woman and looking at estradiol levels, I'm more often than not, I'm doing both. I'm doing like one time I do a peak, the other time I do a trough. If I'm trying to do a trough and it looks really low, I'll do a peak the next time and just
Mhm.
make sure they're in that range that I like.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your work.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. Hey, Irma, how are you?
I'm good, Dr. Millman. I'm good. I'm getting better. Margie, thank you for
Oh,
this. All the work you've done.
good.
So I wanted just to
Good.
acknowledge this whole thing that Margie has created. She brought something out of a seed, right? Planted a seed so long ago, and it's morphed into this incredible program. So thank you both for this. So my question
Thank
is,
you for your work too, Irma. She's a rock star.
Yeah, can I say something here? Oh, wait, let me get my video. Can I have to say something too? Because Irma, let's just give Irma credit where credit is due. So I've been a physical therapist doing this forever, but when I decided, when I really figured out I really have to become a health coach, I really wanted to learn more. Who was my very first mentor with health coaching? It was Irma. So Irma and I have known each
Oh
other.
my
Irma
gosh.
give yourself credit. You've done so much and helped so many people all over and really made a big difference in this space way before anybody was doing this. So hats off to you, Irma. I have to just, I'm glad you appreciate us, but we really, really appreciate you. And you've changed so many lives. So yay,
Thank
Irma.
you, Irma.
Yeah, and Irma's been on all my summits and given so much good information. So thank you, Irma. But okay, I had to say that because I'm such a big fan of yours, Irma.
Such a humbling experience, right, for us all, because we're just trying to do the good work, right, and help each other. And women are so dynamic. So, Dr. Millman, you've been doing this for so long, and I hope this question isn't too broad, but in your experience, what's the greatest DEXA score that you've seen your patients increase doing the combination of weight training, HRT, diet, gut health, supplements?
Wow. Yeah, that's a really good question. Well, I saw um one of my patients yesterday went from a negative 3.4 to a negative 1.7 in the hip and a negative 2.9 to negative 1.5. That was pretty good. I saw a 1.5 standard deviation with another patient in a lumbar spine. That was really good. So my patient yesterday, she went from osteoporotic to osteopenic completely everywhere. She was osteoporotic in 2 places and went to osteopenic. And that was over the course of about a 4-year period. She was definitely on hormones. Yeah, I think 1.5 standard deviations in the lumbar spine and about a standard deviation in the hip. Not on meds, right? No Evenity. Like Evenity, they do better. Evenity and Prolia and Reclass, they do better than that. But yeah, and those are both the really, really high achievers. They're on hormones. They're on hormones. I can't do that without it.
The point is the point that you're making is so important, the time commitment, right? It's not 1 year, 6 months, it's 1 to 4 or 5 years staying on the course, tweaking, staying on the course. So thank you.
Yeah, sure. We just did you hear Irma, did you hear that podcast that we just did? You
No,
should,
I didn't hear that, but I will go back and listen.
yeah, so it's can you reverse osteoporosis naturally? And so the point of that wasn't to say yes. The point of that was to give some case studies and say what do you do and what do you see and actually what kind of improvements do you see with different kinds of hormones. We did hormones, onera, and reversing hyperparathyroidism because those are kind of the really big ones that you see where you can really reverse significantly.
Thank you.
And here's Kathy.
Hi, Dr. Millman. So nice to
Yay,
see you.
good to see you.
Um, so I've been hearing about this new, I don't know if it's new, the parasite cyclo something or other that lives on fresh produce. Have you heard about that? There is this outbreak.
Oh,
And
you're talking about cyclospora.
yeah. And I live on salads and love fresh produce. And I'm just wondering if you have any ideas about how to protect yourself.
Well, I saw the other day, um, well, I have one. So you can get these ozone bubblers. Have you seen those, the ozone bubblers? Um, so I don't really understand this because cyclospora, this might be just a super virulent strain of cyclospora because usually this is an opportunistic infection that only immunocompromised people get. So I'm a little bit, I haven't seen it enough, but But yeah, like ozone bubbling into the water. So you fill up the sink full of water, put your veggies in there, and put the ozone bubbler in there, and have it ozonated.
Cool. Thank you.
Or what about Brio? Brio might work too.
Brio, throat stuff and put a,
Probably would do the yeah, I probably would do the throat. I'll grab mine. Show you which one. It's the oral rinse.
okay.
I don't know if I can.
I've got some. Put a few drops in water and then wash your veggies in that water.
Yeah, this one, the
Yeah, I've got it.
SOS, they have a different, I don't know. I probably would like do like that much kind of
Like,
thing.
like a tablespoon or something.
Mm, a couple ounces maybe.
Okay. Okay.
This is my ozonator. Who did I buy this from? Hulda Clark, I think I bought this from. Do you guys know who Hulda Clark is? Anybody know who Hulda Clark is? Extra credit points. You guys know?
The crystals lady.
Hi Dot. It's
Hi,
a
Kim.
zapper lady. Dot.
Yes, yes, I know about
The
her.
zapper lady.
This is Naomi. I know.
Yeah. I have like I have a mini little ozonator and yeah, this was from Dr. Clark. Oh my gosh, I haven't used this for a while. But it does have a little bubbler on it, and you can do ozone bubbling. And then I was just seeing that I get some stuff from Therasage, and I was seeing that they have an ozone bubbler too, Therasage. I don't think these ozone bubblers aren't very expensive. I don't think. This was less than $200.
I have the Therasage one and it's $108.
$180. There you go.
No, 108.
$108. Yeah, that's great.
And it works pretty good.
Yeah, and so do you do that with your veggies? You just put it in the sink and bubble into the sink kind of thing?
Yeah, I use a bowl because I don't think the sink is too cleanliness, but
Okay.
anyway, I did put it in a big bowl, yes.
Okay.
And it works good.
Good. Yeah, that's what I would do, that or the Brio. Yeah.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we have kitty cats. We have kitty cats to show off. Here's the kitty cat. Say hi. Hi. Give me kisses. All right. Okay, who's next? Deborah. We always have show and tell, right? We always have show and tell, huh, Margie? Deborah, you're next.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I know you said you don't want a million details, but
Yeah.
in the last 3.5 years, my DEXA, my T-score in the spine, that's the one that's the worst one, went from a -4 to a -3.5. However, the TBS got worse. And what I'm on bioidentical hormone replacement with, do I name drop who I'm with or not, who I'm working with? You don't care. You don't want to know that. Okay. Okay. You don't want to know that. I'm working with, well, a highly respected naturopath that she says she knows what she's doing. I believe her. And I'm on, a lot of bone supporting supplements, resistance training, and I'm just trying to increase my protein and resistance training. But anyways, the TBS has declined, and an endocrinologist, of course, is telling me drugs, which I'm not a fan of. But anyway.
Okay, so I'll try to unpack this in pieces.
Okay.
So So the improvement in L spine was something to -3.5, -4 to -3.5?
Yes,
Okay,
that
so
was three and
that's
a
a
half years.
sizable increase.
Okay,
And I would be happy about that. The TBS, it all is all about degrees, right? So, I'll have patients, and um, I think it's very hard for patients because they don't have the context that I have, right? In that it's like if the TBS goes from 1.22 to 1.24, and it's still going from kind of the middle range into a little bit more into the little higher range, or and it still stays in like a partially degraded area. Is that really a decrement, right? It's all about how much has it changed?
you want me to tell you the numbers? I could.
I don't know that I know the ranges off the top of my head. I know like uh, so the question would be
Hmm.
is not for you, but for somebody, for anyone who has a TBS that goes from, like, if it goes from partially degraded up to degraded, and it's gone, and it's really jumped a lot, you could give a couple of numbers as to what those are.
Okay. In the 3.5 years, it went starting 1.071 to
Mm-hmm.
1.054.
1.01 to
No,
1.754.
no, 1.071
Oh, 071.
to 1.054.
1.071 to 1.054.
54. Mm-hmm.
It's gone down by point oh two. Um, and then what are the ranges of that? That looks like completely degraded.
Yes.
And what is the range of completely degraded?
That I can't tell you off the top of my head, but it was in that degraded range. I mean, it was not on the
Both
borderline.
of them were
Both,
degraded.
both of them, yes.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't really, if, I mean, if it looked like it was going from, well, I don't know if I can solve this without like pulling a chart and looking at a TBS range. Um, maybe Margie could do you, Margie, could you might not have the data either. Margie, could you ask Claude what the ranges are for degraded, and partially degraded?
I believe that Irma just put some numbers in the chat.
Melanie, you just did? Okay. Oh, okay. Irma did. Okay.
Yeah.
131, 123, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this sounds right. Yeah, they sounded really low. It's the TBS went from really low to really low.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if this is not inconsistent with a T-score of -3.5.
Okay.
So here's the way that I would think about this. And remember that this only TBS is only refer to the spine, not to the hip at all.
Mm-hmm.
So so if this were my patient, I would tell her to take a win. Her L spine improved significantly. And if she were on bioidentical hormones, then I might maybe mistrust the TBS, or I'm not quite sure. But I would have my patient take a win.
Do you think if I remeasured it in a year, that's long enough, or do I really have to wait 2 years before?
Because of the fact that it doesn't appear to me to be it's a little suspicious. I would have my patient repeat it in a year.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. I just don't want to be pushed onto a drug, and that's what
Well,
they.
so my criteria are negative 3.5 and worse, history of fractures. These are all ors, history of fractures, and then CTX is above 900. The CTX is nice and low and nice and optimal, then I know the bones are stable. If the P1NP is nice and high, if the person is doing strength training and they're doing hormones and they're looking at their diet and they're doing all the gut stuff and all of that, then I'm pretty happy to, like, let it coast along and see how things go.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Susan.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much for taking all these wonderful questions. Do
Yes.
you ever recommend a second round of Evenity injections?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I have somebody right now who started at a -5, and she went, well, probably what we're going to do is she went from a -5 to maybe a -4, 4.3, something
Mhm.
like that, maybe 4.2. So that's still pretty, pretty low. And then her hips were bad, worse than -3.5. So we're going to do a round of Prolia, and then we'll do a round of reclassed, and then a couple years later we'll probably restart her on Evenity.
Okay. Have you ever had a patient who, after doing the first year of Evenity and then went on 2 years of Fosamax, and after those 2 years, lost most of the 18% that was gained in the
Oh
spine?
no.
Yeah. So the recommendation is now, and now it's been a year since that last DEXA, but the
Oh God.
recommendation is now to go on to a second round of Evenity.
So
And
there weren't any CTXs done to, like, look
um
what was happening in there?
yeah, there was a CTX. I don't remember what it is, but I
I
just
mean, the
recently.
Fosamax should have brought the CTXs like maybe into the 120 range or something like that. And if it wasn't, if it was at 350 or 400, you would know that the Fosamax wasn't enough to catch the rebound from Evenity. So,
Yeah, I think unfortunately there was no testing done in those 2 years.
oh
And it
no.
was only after the 2 years was up that getting the second DEXA, because the DEXAs are only every 2 years. I don't know why they're not every year,
Well, the
but
CTX can catch them though. I mean,
right, exactly. But
and
it
and
was
then the other thing too, Susan, is that, I have patients who are on meds and they get DEXAs every year. The insurance companies will do DEXA more often when you're on meds.
even Medicare.
I think so.
Yeah, well, anyway, that's what happened.
That's why
And
you all have to advocate for yourself.
right. Well, when I found this out, then I asked my primary, well, obviously I'm talking about myself, asked primary doctor for I think it was the CTX, and then actually asked for the calcium, the cardiac calcium scoring and the LPA, just to make sure. I didn't have any problems with the Evenity first time around, but I just wanted to make sure, 4 years later and older.
And if anybody has any, like, really, uh, Susan, I might get a consultation from Dr. McCorm. I don't think you need one because of the fact that you don't have the CTX to like even look at it. But yeah, you maybe I would do a consultation with Dr. McCormick about this, because it's not very often that Evenity's rebound isn't captured with Fosamax, but like
Yeah.
not having the CTX, you just don't know. You just don't know.
Right, right.
Yeah, you
Okay.
just don't know.
Well, thanks.
But I still think Dr. McCormick he's a really, really good resource for anybody who has really complicated medication questions that like I can't answer, because
Yeah, but you do think that like a period of 4 years between Evenity injections is an okay time period to wait for starting a second round?
well, what you have to look at is the time period between the end of Fosamax.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah,
So that's
Fosamax
2 years,
still
right? That's 2 years, not 4.
right. The four, it was 4 years ago that I had the 1 year of Evenity injections, and then 2 years
Yeah.
of Fosamax after that before the DEXA, and now so it's been 3 years.
So do you understand why the time period is at the end of Fosamax? Do you understand why? Sounds like no, you don't.
No.
Because an anti-resorptive makes it more difficult for the anabolics to work. So you want to
Yes.
make sure that the anti-resorptive has completely worn off. So,
Okay.
and now it completely worn off is not a proper explanation in any sense, actually. I very much misspoke. But it's worn off enough that the anabolic effects you can get them again.
Okay.
I think 2 years from Fosamax to Evenity is probably enough. But
Oh, well, it's only been 1 month because
it's been 1 month since the end of Fosamax.
right, because when I had the DEXA 2 years ago, I was told just, I know this sounds crazy, just stay on the Fosamax and we'll retest you in 2 years.
Yeah, 1 month from the end of Fosamax into Evenity is not enough.
Okay.
The
What do
Evenity is
you,
going to have a really, really hard time working against that anti-resorptive.
yeah, what do you recommend for a length of time to be off the,
Yeah, I was thinking a couple of years, but this
okay.
is not exactly my forte, but I think at least a couple of years. Irma, do you have an opinion on how long?
The question was, how long do you have to be on off
How
of the?
long do you have to be off of Fosamax in order to go onto an anabolic?
I think it's tracking the CTX. So I'm not exactly sure from a timing point of view.
But because the bisphosphonates sit in the bones for such a long period of time, I think it's longer than that. Because I remember at least Dr. McCormick saying that in kind of an emergency situation, it was like at least 6 months. Or that you wanted to or before you would do dental work, it was 6 months. I would give it way longer than that to start an anabolic, because Evenity is expensive and all of that.
So anyway,
I would get a consultation with Dr. McCormick.
the good news is, guess who I'm speaking to right after this tonight, Dr. McCormick. And so he's coming on my podcast for probably doing 2 podcasts. But one is going to be on questions like this. So write your questions, but write McCormick next to
Well,
him.
Margie, the question is how long after being
I know this question, but I'm saying, since I'm talking to him, if you have questions like this, let's not give them to Dr. Millman, because we don't know exactly. But I'm saying, if you have a question for Dr. McCormick, since I'm going to have a podcast with him, just write McCormick and I'll see them in the chat.
Well, I know a lot, but I can answer some of them.
Yeah, so if there's one that we don't know, but I'll ask him this one specifically.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Margie. Thank you both so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Kristen.
Hi, Dr. Millman. Thank you both, you and Margie, for doing this. It's very helpful and much appreciated your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just had a question what you'd recommend to a patient who just had a declining PM1P over like 7, 8 months, by labs, despite doing like high protein, building supplements, weight bearing, and HRT.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that you can't really do anything about is if this, and it's a good thing, not a bad thing, is when the CTX falls, the P1NP falls with it, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
you have to look at the ratio. So let's say that the CTX was 500 and the P1NP was 75, right? So a tenth of 500 would be 50 and 75 is better than that, right? Now
Mhm.
let's say the CTX falls to 250 and 25 plus 12 and a half is 37 and a half. So if the CTX fell to 250, which it should on HRT, then if the P1NP is better than 37.5, it has the same ratio. P1NP has gone down, but it's really gone down because the CTX has gone down.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that if a CTX goes down, a PM1P is going to follow.
Yeah, it does. It does. But see how that ratio was maintained? So the fact that at 500 the P1NP was at 75, which is way better than 50. It was 50% better than 50. That if the CTX falls down to 250 and you have that same 50% increase in the P1NP. The P1NP is just followed the CTX. The P1NP is just as good as it was with the CTX at 500 as it is with 250 because of the ratio.
Okay. And even you, so you don't even worry about if it falls below. There's that range, and I think the optimal range. What if it's like around 21?
Well,
Is that still
so
okay if the ratio is okay?
so it's 1/10.
Mhm.
And the ratio or the CTX optimal is 250 to 350. And then 1/10 of CTX for P1NP is appropriate. But if it's better than that, that's what we're really going for. And when you look at the meds, when you look at the anabolic meds, the P1NPs are so much better than a tenth of the CTXs.
Okay. And HRT will cause that PN1P to go down too.
CTX to go down.
Oh, but you said, yeah, but you said the PN1P also goes
It
down with it.
follows it. It
Okay.
follows it. Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Thank
just
you
look
for.
at the ratio. Just look at the ratio.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I was in clinic the other day, and my patients, she was on Forteo. She was on her 14th month of Forteo, and compared to her 10th month, her P1NP to CTX ratio changed, and it was this. The ratio was going down. Not just the P1P was following the CTX, but it was greater than that, and I could tell that the Forteo wasn't working as well.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much for the clarification.
Uh-huh. Kristen. Another Kristen.
Yes, hi. I
Hi.
wasn't sure which one was before. So in a nutshell, my CTX has jumped way up again. I was on Fosamax 20 years ago for 6 years. I had a hip fracture when I had a hip replacement done. I think there may be a connection to that. And Dr. McCormick has suggested that I take a short-term Fosamax, 6 months, to bring down the CTX. I asked my PCP today about this new information about HRT, and you seem to be a big fan of HRT. I'm not doing that at all. So that's another option, right?
That's another option, yeah.
Okay, but nobody seems to be interested in it. So would I need this
There are lots of
endocrinologist?
hormone providers that are they're trained by A4M or they're trained by the National Menopause Society. Yeah, and so it's there are a lot of providers that will prescribe to older women. There really are. You have to find them.
Okay.
What
I'm kind
state
of
are
going
you
with
in?
Dr.
What
Sorry?
state are you in? Where are you at?
Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah. So that's another thing. I can't do an arrow because there's nobody here. And I'd like to try to do that. I can't. I'm considering taking your
Well,
course.
Onero is growing all the time, and we have Melanie can probably drop in the link and to the Onero map if she has it.
Yeah, I check it periodically, but I don't see anything locally.
Oh, so Irma, are you saying that Belchertown, Massachusetts? Oh, that's where Dr. McCormick is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
saw
would it make any
Google.
sense for me to take your program? I've been doing, a wide array of things for years, and I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, quite frankly, I think it always makes sense because I'm going into lab interpretation and people can kind of follow along with me. They get their labs, they get their labs, they try to figure out, they interpret them for themselves. If they have questions, they bring them to the Q&As. Then if there's something that's abnormal with their labs or not optimal, then there are protocols, supplement protocols to try to reverse that. And so I think it can be really helpful. And I just feel that that even if you're working with good practitioners, having the knowledge base yourself is a good thing.
No, before we go any further, why don't you take this time just to explain, because it is coming up. There is another cohort coming, the class is coming up in August. And maybe someone wants to, I see that there are people on this call who've gone through the program, like maybe Kathy or someone wants to just
Yeah.
answer that
Yeah,
question.
let me tell you about it a little bit, and then I think this is a very appropriate time for me to tell you a little bit about it. So it is a 14-week program. The class materials online, lifetime access to the program materials. There's videos on the science and the curriculum. There are resources, handouts that walk you through self-assessments and walk you through some action steps. And then part of it, like I said, is you going and getting some functional medicine labs, some essential labs for osteoporosis, and then the interpretations are and the protocols are within the science curriculum, and then we have these Q&As. And the bonus module that's coming out this time is going to be on peptides. So we're going to do some peptides that are involved in repair and tissue repair and fracture healing and growth hormone signaling in increasing telomeres, increasing cardiovascular health, increasing sleep, and increasing gut health. So those peptides we're going to be talking about in R&R this time. And if any, uh-huh.
No, I think the key is who this is appropriate for is if you want to become really knowledgeable. So you really want to have a good understanding of the whys and what's going on. Have someone, if you don't have a functional medicine doctor and really want, as we know, Dr. Millman knows, has been doing this for such a long time. So she can help you through the course. And so it's been, you become very knowledgeable. And then you're a partner in your care. And, both of us feel that knowledge is power. And so that's why it's so helpful. But I saw that Kathy's here, some other people have gone through it, if anybody wants to say anything.
I can say something. I've taken Dr. Millman's class 4 times and I've gotten more and more out of it every time. And I love the different modules and how you teach how things like blood sugar, which I never knew I had a problem with, and heart health and stress and all these different organ systems. I found that I had a parathyroid tumor and my CTX went from 1027 to 351. That was a huge game changer. But there's so much information and you can learn at your own pace, and there's a great community of people. And I live on the East Coast, so I'm going out to California, and I'm meeting up with one of my classmates.
Yeah, who are you? Oh, who is it?
Susan.
Who?
Susan. Susan.
Susan.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm so
nice.
excited.
She's
Yeah.
on here too. So
I
anyway,
am here too.
it's
Yeah.
super. It's super, the course. I would recommend it to everybody.
Thank you, Kathy.
As would I. I've done it. I've only done it 3 times.
How many times are you up to, Irma?
This would be the 5th.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to say is that, yes, Dr. Millman is very, very smart, very curious, and will spend the time answering questions in depth. And there's a steep learning, and it's just the community is the thing that really gets me jazzed. How the ladies come together and they don't feel intimidated to ask questions. So the space is safe to ask questions, and there's a lot of deep learning.
Yeah, the community is great. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why people keep coming back. So we have 76 in our last cohort. We had 76 alumni. So
I teach 2 of the classes on exercise and then stress and happiness. So it's always fun whenever I come. I love seeing the people, and it's yeah, it's a really good environment, and people are just very knowledgeable. If you're the type of person that really wants a good understanding of what's going on and help from someone who has done this for so long, I think I mean, that's how it started. I actually asked, I'm so excited because years ago I asked Dr. Millman, I said, it was after my summit. And I said, oh my gosh, everyone's writing me. Where do I find Dr. Millman? Can she see people online? I'm like, no, no, no. And in those days, I think you were allowed to see people if they came to California initially, but
yeah,
that was like during COVID or something. But anyway, that law changed. So I'm like, no, if you're not in California, you cannot see her. So that's when I said, is there any way you would do a course maybe that you could put this information, help people on their path? And she said, yes. And then she came back years later and asked me, well, I do the practitioner training for the people who want one-on-one. So it's all good stuff. But anyway, the course is very, very special. And I just don't think there's anything out there where you get a physician working with you and helping you on your path and getting such an understanding of what's going on. And people get better. I mean, this is the integrative approach we know works. So very exciting. Anyway.
yeah. We actually there's somebody who's talking about being from Canada, and we have a new graduate from the Bone Health Academy program where we're teaching other practitioners this method. And she actually is in Canada, and so she can allow people in Canada to buy from her full script dispensary. So in the past, people from Canada weren't able to get things from full script because they needed a practitioner in Canada to buy from. And so we have that resource now too. Okay, Sue.
Did you call Sue Collins?
Oh no, Sue Rivera.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I stepped away for a second.
Sue, you're still on mute.
Okay. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi. I'm new to all of this. There's a lot of technical stuff that I don't understand. But I've had, I went from osteopenia to osteoporosis, and I am on estradiol, 1 milligram twice a week. Dr. Bissinger is actually the person who prescribed it. And I have an appointment with him next week, or in a couple of weeks. I have been on Fosamax since 2022, and I'm making very slow progress, good progress, and not going backwards. My Um, the issue is my hips, my neck is fine, more or less. I mean, it's osteopenia, it's not normal, but it's doing better. But my question is this: I've been on Fosamax, and um, my rheumatologist is the one who prescribed it, and he is talking about taking me off that now. Well, not now. I'm not sure exactly when, and having me take a medication holiday, so to speak. And he's talking about putting me on Prolia after that. And Prolia scares me because of the rebound. Can you? He started me on Fosamax, and I've been reading that when you first start on medication, you should really start on a different type of med. I don't remember what it's called, but this is
An anabolic.
Yeah, and this is what I am. And, I am where I am, and the question is, where's the best place to go from here?
Yeah, yeah. Well, so this is a complicated question, and it really depends on a lot of things, right? And so if we get into too many of those things, I'm definitely giving you medical advice. But I will say that it is my opinion, and I have literature to back this up, is that about 3 years into bisphosphonates, you may be decreasing the quality of your bones.
And the Fosamax?
Yeah, the bisphosphonates don't build quality. They don't. They do not.
Because
They build some density, but they don't build quality. And that is exactly why at 5 years, you must take a drug holiday because of the fact that the atraumatic fractures of the femur, osteonecrosis of the jaw, those all become more prevalent. And you just have to think about the fact that why would that be occurring? And the reason is because it's shutting down the osteoclasts. So it's actually killing the osteoclasts. So, and we need remodeling to happen in our bones. So we need some osteoclasts. We need some osteoclasts to take out the microfractures that are in the bone, and then the osteoblasts, which are the building cells, to build them back up. That's natural modeling. When you go in with a bisphosphonate and you kill a bunch of osteoclasts, then that natural remodeling doesn't happen. So you do have an increase of density, but in the middle of the bone, its quality is decreasing because the microfractures are accumulating. So
what shows that? Because when I'm looking at my numbers look like they're getting better now.
that's because your density is increasing.
So what shows what you're talking about?
Well, we know it theoretically.
Oh, okay. I mean, he hasn't done the DEXA or not the DEXA. He does the DEXA. The other ones, what are they called?
TBS?
I'm sorry.
TBS?
Like they're getting better now.
That's because density increasing. Melanie, can you mute gallery?
Talking about. Yeah, I'm getting feedback here.
So Sue, I wonder if we're not like getting kind of too deep into this, and I don't really want to badmouth your doctor and make you like think that I'm trying to do that. So
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But what do I do?
Well,
the PCN, what is that? The PCNP something? Those tests.
P1NP and CTX.
Yeah, that one. Those two. I mean, yeah, the CTX and the P1NP. Those have not been done. Those tests.
Well, you don't need to do them while you're on a bisphosphonate. You don't need to do them because they're going to be because the CTX is going to be not artificially. The CTX is going to be reduced because of killing off the osteoclasts, and the P1NP is going to follow with it anyway. So, I mean, if I had a patient who came into me in that situation,
yeah,
I would look at and I don't want you to tell me all of this data because I'm going to get into territory right away where I'm giving you medical advice, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would have to look at how bad is this patient's bones? Do they really need to be on an anti-resorptive? Are they barely osteoporotic? Are they severely osteoporotic? Do they need an anabolic? I would be asking myself these questions. I do not believe that people who are barely osteoporotic need to be on a bisphosphonate. That's what I believe, because I believe that the quality of the bone is not good. And so you're not building good bone, and you're just kind of pushing off the inevitable. I like to see people do something like the way that I practice, and the way that we teach in R&R, to do the root cause analyses and just see what possibly is making those bones break down and try to fix that instead of, so that's where I would be.
So I'm not sure where to go from this.
Well, but you understand that I'm not here to be able to tell you, right?
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't legally, and it would be absolutely inappropriate of me to do so because I don't know your whole history.
I thought I had the impression that the Fosamax was doing a good job, and apparently that's not necessarily the case.
I think that a 3 or 4 years into it, it's fine. It's
Okay.
fine. But you go longer than 5, and it's really not building quality bone. And yeah.
And you're saying that being off everything for a period of time is a good thing?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to move on.
All right. The business about the Prolia. There are risks with Prolia as far as rebound, correct?
Yes, this is true.
And that's what I'm worried about, because that's what he's considering for me as the next step after the holiday.
So Sue, we're gonna have to move on because we've spent a sizable amount of time with you, and hopefully, why don't you listen to the discussion, okay, and try and pick up some other things that you might that that you might learn from this, but I the thing that I really want to say to you, I can't say.
Can you email it to me?
No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't.
All right.
It has to do with old school thinking, right? That has to do with that. So that's a hint. All right, Jackie.
Thank you so much for this. I've been diagnosed with osteoporosis, and I'm just so overwhelmed because I'm a caregiver and I just don't have time to do much. But when I heard the podcast, I just felt so like, wow, I mean, there's hope, and I really appreciate that you and Margie spent that time to give all that information. So my question is, because I'm a caregiver, I'm working full time, I don't really have time to do, and I'm one of those overachievers. So if I start to get information and I can't do, I get overwhelmed. So
Yeah.
now that I'm listening to that people have taken this over and over, I'm thinking maybe I should just sign on, even if I can't do anything, just because I'll get get more information and for the future, and maybe I can take it another time when I'm more prepared to. So I'm just asking, does that sound like something that
Well,
would be a
what
good idea?
state are you in?
You know what? It's so,
Are you in California?
No, I'm in Honolulu.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Do you have 2 hours on Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific?
Possibly, it depends on when I have meetings and things, but I mean,
So if you could try to carve off
Yes.
2 hours from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock Pacific time, you could come to the Q&As and you would pick up, and it would be like being in this Q&A almost every week for 14 weeks. And I promise you would learn some stuff.
Okay. I was, originally I thought there's no way I have time for this, but I mean, not just time to attend the Q&As, but to do all the things that you need to do. But there's so much information that I feel like, wow, if I could just get it in little pieces just to get me started. And then that
Well,
way.
but that's what we do
Yes,
is that, like, module 1 is about, the bone turnover markers and how you should be getting them, and like how you actually take them and how you interpret them and what they're good for. And then we talk about it.
Okay, great.
Right?
And then what to ask my doctor for, like what kind of, because I have a regular, practitioner, and they're not really well versed in this. So at least
you can order them yourself too.
Oh, okay, great. All right. All right. Well, that's my main question. I actually have to go and take care of my person right now. So I'm going to sign off, but thank you for answering my question. And I think I'll sign up and then get my feet wet and get the information that I need to get started.
I would be honored to help you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I just want to say something about that because overwhelm is a real problem when it comes to bone health. And what happens with overwhelm is we do nothing. There's so much, and you just stop in your tracks because you don't know where to start. But what I've seen work is you take one step at a time. You learn one thing. Okay, let's do that. And you build on these habits and you build, and people do. And that's when people really do well. And they look back and they're like, wow, this diagnosis was a blessing because I've done all these things. So that's, one thing, get you on this course, learn more. And that's how people really, really make a difference. And I've seen this, as I said, I've been doing this for over 30 years. But so don't worry that you can't do everything. You just start with one thing and you build on it.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. And yeah, the access to the materials doesn't go away.
Right.
One of the reasons why people have come back as alumni is they love the community. But the other thing too is they're like, well, life happened and I didn't do what I wanted to do, and I wanted some support to stay in the momentum. I wanted to keep with you and with the rest of the community, and just keep momentum. So that's one of the reasons why people, take the alumni over and over again.
And then I guess if I can't, I'm sure I can attend some, and I'll hope to attend most, but if I can't, it's recorded so I can just listen.
Yep, that's exactly
All
right.
Okay, I think I will sign up. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Hey, Judy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. I have an appointment with you in mid to end. I can think it's end of September. But
right, me too.
In the meantime, I just thought I would ask you, my CTX and has doubled since last year. So I have to again, and I'm wondering, and my P1MP has gone up also. And the CTX used to be in the normal range, and now it's not in the normal range anymore. And my cortisol is too high in the morning as well. And I'm just wondering, in terms of looking for the root cause of what could have, I can't do a DEXA for another year. But I'm just curious about looking for the root cause of such a change. I've been doing all the things. I strength train and I do, I do all those things. So I'm just wondering where I might look. My gut is actually feeling good, but I did decide that I should do the GI map. So I just did that. I haven't gotten a response yet. But maybe there's some inflammation that I'm not aware of. So I don't have those results yet. But I'm wondering if you have any suggestions or any ideas about why it might have gotten so much worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously you're my patient and I know your history quite well. And so um so that I think that in order for this to be a question that would be maybe illustrative for others, I could talk about kind of the general framework of what we do when we look at for, root cause problems. Um, and so Judy has mentioned that cortisol is high in the morning. So we know that cortisol breaks down the bones really quickly. And so kind of me knowing her lifestyle, I want to know why her cortisol is high because it doesn't seem like it should be. But she has clean eating, clean lifestyle. And we want to know whether she's working out, and I think she is. Maybe not doing as much strength training as she'd like to. No hormones. And so hormones can always be an issue. She's talking about getting a GI map to evaluate her gut. Food sensitivities can be an issue, and I think that she and I have addressed that in the past. Let's see, what else? Sleeping. So I would want to know if she's sleeping well or if she's not. If she's not, then maybe not only do we want to know a cortisol number in the morning, but we want to know cortisol at midnight or at bedtime to find out whether or not cortisol needs to be dampened at night to help her sleep, and then she'd go back into a healing mode. And then we look at heart health because heart circulation affects the bones as well. Other types of inflammation, and I don't remember her inflammatory numbers. So that's how we go about trying to like kind of work this whole thing through. We do testing where we can, we do symptom assessment where we can, and more than that, Judy, I think I'm gonna have to probably not delve in any depth because I'm trying to teach people not for me not to give them medical advice, and I think that that's my general um, answer to your question.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's why I didn't give you the numbers because I know this is general. I just wondered if there's something that I could be looking for that I haven't thought about. I did have sleep apnea, and now I'm on a device, and that I don't have that anymore. So it's just curious to me why. So
So maybe a cortisol tracing so that that we can see what your cortisol looks like at night potentially, since it's high in the morning.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you, and maybe it'll be different by then. All right.
Okay. I think Jackie maybe has already asked a question. I don't know if that's the same Jackie. Irene?
That's a different Jackie.
Oh, a different Jackie. Come on
Yeah.
up.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. I only eat twice a day at 7 and 11:30 in the morning, and I'm starting to take calcium supplements with some other stuff. And my question is it better to space out the calcium supplement when I'm eating the food, or to take it at 7 in the morning when I eat breakfast, and to take the second dose at 5 o'clock when I only take essential amino acids to increase my protein? Which do you think is best, with food or better spaced out?
Well, so there's a concept called the fractional absorption of calcium. And then basically the sweet spot of taking enough calcium for good absorption, but not too much to have bad absorptions, because the percentage absorption of calcium goes down, the more calcium you take at one time. So the sweet spot is about 390 milligrams. So you can look at, I think 5 p.m. is a perfect time when there's no food, because that basically, if you stay within that kind of 390 and below range, you're going to get the best fractional absorption at that point in time. And then either taking it with a meal that doesn't have calcium in it would be the next best.
But I'm taking it twice a day.
I get it. I get it. So 390 at 5 p.m. when there's no food, you're gonna have a really nice fractional absorption at that point, because you
Yep.
don't have calcium adding to it to push it over to 500, and it depends on how much you're taking each time too. So
Okay, so maybe 7 a.m. with food and 5 p.m. without food would be okay or better.
So I would look at what you're eating at 7 a.m. and what you're eating at 11:30, and pick the time when you have the least amount of calcium in your food.
Okay.
And this is an exercise that I have people do in R&R. I think it's really important to know how much calcium you're getting from your food.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Irene?
Rena, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was Irene before you, but
Okay. I didn't know if you were just reading my name wrong.
you're next. You're next. So Irene, you're still on mute. Still on mute? Hello. All right, let's have Rena come on.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes.
Oh,
Yvonne, they can't.
Oops. Okay. So I've been on Prolia for about 10 years, and I recently had a dental extraction and maybe getting an implant. So I know that means a pause in the Prolia, or potentially. And I also have fractures in my foot at the same time. All this is going on. So I'm meeting with the endocrinologist, and I know that he's been urging me to try Reclast for a while. And I'm now just learning that there's this rebound with Prolia. So do you think that following Prolia with Reclast is a good idea? I've never had CTX or P1NP testing. Should I do that first?
Yeah, so the longer that you've been on Prolia, the more rebound that happens. Anything past a year and a half will have vigorous rebound. 10 years is going to have an extreme rebound. This kind of rebound should be followed by somebody who really knows what they're doing. So if my patient came to me in this situation, I would have them go to Dr. McCormick and have Dr. McCormick handle the rebound.
Okay. And I can reach him.
He does consultations all over the country. You can tell him that you were on a Q&A with me and Margie, and that you are looking at a potential really difficult Prolia rebound, and that we think that you need an kind of a semi-urgent appointment.
Okay. Thank
I'll
you.
put it in the chat for you. I put it earlier, but I'll put his consultation.
You agree with me, Margie?
Oh, absolutely. As I said, I'm speaking to him right after, so I can mention your name. I can let him know that you might
It's
be calling.
Rena.
Rena, yeah. Yeah, he's the best person who comes from an integrative approach, but has had so much experience with the medications. And so that's who we like to refer to because he can help you figure out, all right, what can I do? There's very few people who have his mix of knowledge and expertise with medications. So yeah, I agree totally, Dr. Millman. I'll put his number in the chat right now.
So Irene, can you come on? We skipped over you.
Can you hear me?
Barely, we can barely hear you. Can you turn up your mic?
Yeah, it's started full now. Is that any better?
And I'm just hearing a lot of echoey kind of.
Oh.
If not, just type it in chat if we can't hear you, and we can take someone else in the meantime. The other person who couldn't, who can't, doesn't know how to raise her hand for some, is having issues, was Heather. So I told her that you could just call on her.
Is that Heather with her hand raised right there?
Oh, did you get it? Did you figure it out, Heather? Oh, good.
So Heather, we can take you while Irene's gonna type in the chat.
No, maybe it was earlier that she had mentioned she couldn't come on.
Heather, can you unmute? Okay. Linda? Oh, there's Heather. Go ahead, Heather.
There. Can you hear Heather now?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Hello, Dr. Millman. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you, Heather.
I think this is hard for you because people have so many questions, and like you said, you can't give that advice, and I see it in your face. Sometimes it's like, oh gosh. But anyways, I am 66.
Well, I'm trying.
Oh, you're doing your best. Absolutely. I think that's you in a bad situation. But anyways, I'm 66 years old. I just was recently diagnosed with osteoporosis, mild, and I'm seeing a physiotherapist. It's in the left hip and the left SI joint, and I have a narrowing in my left hip. So I was on the internet the other day quickly, and I seen Margie, I guess it is, come up, and I thought, well, this would be interesting to find out. Again, all these numbers, like I'm kind of overwhelmed with it all.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, to be proactive. I do have a family history. I have 4 sisters that have osteoporosis that are on medication, but I'm not there, and I hope I never have to be. Would the exercises be enough to help?
So whenever somebody says, so I think actually this last podcast that we did, you should watch it because we did a couple of case studies and how much people are seeing of an improvement with exercise, with the weight training with Onero. And Margie, you had numbers I guess you had some numbers from Claudia. Did you want to repeat?
I don't remember exactly the numbers, but people have, I mean, this is the beautiful thing. So Belinda Beck, Dr. Belinda Beck, who actually is the person who created Onero, and she ran the Liftmore trials and the study and all the research. And so I've had interviews with her several times. And yes, you can increase your bone density. And there are people who, there were people, and this is what Dr. Claudia Tomas sees as well. So yes, you can increase with the Onero. But it's not like just simple weight training. This is whole body, and it's a little more intense. However, people have increased their bone density with the exercise, and they continue. That's what she said. Like there are people 3-4 years continuing to increase bone density. According to Dr. Claudia, she sees the greatest gains when people combine that with the hormone replacement, the two of them together. But she sees also, I mean, I've been doing Onero for it's years now, and people continue to increase, and I have as well. And so, yeah, so you can, but it depends where you're at. Both Dr. Millman and I, if you have root causes, like it's the combination is what's so important. You need to look at your root causes and see what's going on. Because if you're missing that piece, it's really the combination of the root causes, the diet, the exercise, all of those things, and the stress reduction. It's really the combination that's most effective. So, yes, exercise can help, but why would you want to miss all these other pieces? That's sort of how we look at it. So, but yeah, it does
Yeah, that's a
definitely.
great point.
It's exciting that the exercise is, I mean, it's so exciting to me because there's nothing better than being strong, and it's exciting as you get older to actually improve your strength. But it's all the pieces I think is so important. I would never tell someone to miss a step and only do exercise.
Oh, okay. I'm, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from Canada, so I didn't know this was from the States, but I mean, I can certainly get help here too. I'm just trying to be proactive, right? So I do see my GP in a week, and I don't take calcium. I'm not on vitamin D. So
Vitamin K.
no.
Vitamin K might be the most important supplement for bones. I mean, some of this basic stuff.
Yeah, I know it. I'm very basic. Like I hear all these numbers and people talking, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope I don't go down that road.
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of students from Canada. I mean, you're welcome to join us. So, and then
Yeah.
you'll learn, and then
Yeah.
you'll get on some basic supplements, and you can, yeah, and then as I don't, so some of my patients' improvements in numbers I have in at the on the top of my head, but the I know we just did a podcast and I had a situation where one of my patients was really just like the improvement that she had that one particular year was pretty much from Onero. And it might have been a half a standard deviation, but it was only a year. And I found that really profound, to have that kind of improvement in just a year. And like Margie says, that when you get into your fourth year, now you've quadrupled that. And so you can gain some in muscle strength and bone by doing that.
Yeah.
Heather, we're going to have to move on because we don't we want to give
Yeah.
everyone a chance. So
Okay. Thank you very much, both of you.
you're welcome. Linda?
Hi. I know you've talked a lot about CTX and the P1NP this evening. It's evening for me. I'm in New York State. But how often do you recommend that the CTX and the P1NP be repeated for someone who has had a year of Evenity and then one dose of reclassed?
I'm so sorry. I was just reading this thing about Dr. Greger said that all the studies on the benefits of Ks were deemed fraudulent. This is absolutely not true. So Dr. Greger said that the benefits of K were deemed fraudulent. This was true that there were a couple of studies in the big landmark Japanese study that got rescinded, and those got taken out and it got reanalyzed, and there was still benefit and it didn't really change the results that much. And PubMed did not retract the article that was redone with there were a couple of studies where they took them out of the analysis, but PubMed did not retract all of that data. So that and to say that data was fraudulent, I don't think that that's true. And then you don't need Dr. McCormick to tell you that you can be on estrogen or HRT with Prolia. Okay, Linda, let's go with you.
Okay. So, so I know you've talked a lot about CTX and the P1NP, but my question is if you have a patient that's done the 1 year course of Evenity and then follows up immediately with reclassed, how often would you repeat the CTX, and do you always do the P1NP at the same time?
Yeah, so for Evenity, usually that's a pretty easy rebound, and you don't even need to get the CTX and the P1NP at the transition point. Like for Prolia this is the biggest one where you really need to know what the CTX and the P1NPs are into the transition. But usually all we do for Evenity to reclass is 3 months into the reclass. We check the CTX and the P1NP, make sure that the reclass is sufficiently reducing the CTX. The CTX should be like 200 or something like that, 200 or less. And then if that's the case, then right around the year mark, then it gets rechecked to see whether another dose of reclass is needed and when another dose of reclass is needed.
Okay. So that's the protocol that you would normally follow.
Evenity is a very easy rebound.
What do you mean by easy rebound?
You can even do Fosamax with it. Because Prolia, the reason why the rebound is so bad is because the what happens is that the osteoclasts don't get killed like in a bisphosphonate. They get split into two, and these are called osteomorphs. And then when the Prolia is gone, they fuse back together. But this whole time, these osteomorphs are being generated. So now you got a ton of osteoclasts that are active all at the same time, and then they just start breaking down all the bone that you just built. And you really have to shut these osteoclasts down really quickly, and you have to know the right time. And Prolia is a drug that lasts anywhere from 6 to 9 months. So you need to know when these osteoclasts are starting to get active, and when they hit a certain point, that's when you trigger the IV reclass. Evenity just doesn't have this kind of a problem because the mechanism isn't the same as with Prolia.
Okay, right.
Very easy rebound, really easy rebound.
Okay,
Hey,
very good.
Dee?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Dee?
Hi.
Hi.
What I'd like to know is what the research says about someone who is osteoporosis in the hip and femoral neck. 2 point, it's less than -3 in the high twos, but spine is fine. What does the research say about the osteo boost? Will that help the spine?
I'm going to let Margie answer this question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's the deal on OsteoBoost. So OsteoBoost, when they did the research, they were looking for improvement. So they were looking at bone density. They didn't really see that didn't happen in the research. So then sometimes when the research doesn't show what they were looking for, they then try to look back. So all it showed was there was less bone loss in one vertebrae. So it's just one vertebrae, L1. So the research was never for osteoporosis. It was for osteopenia to prevent bone loss. So the research is not robust. There was actually articles written in, I think, Osteoporosis International saying, what kind of research is this? And truthfully, we know exercise works. And, it's just you wear it on the hip. So to me, I don't see the value of it. I think the
Little
research.
ones on the bottom. Good.
Yeah. So anyway, so to me, I'm not a fan because I don't see the research really isn't showing there's any great improvement. And then there were some people that had to drop out of the study because it caused back pain. So the one I like, if anyone's going to do vibration, is the Maradyne low intensity vibration unit. But again, to me, the key is the exercise. These are all adjuncts, but I don't find that the research is supportive. Like sometimes what happens is there can be so many claims, and then the newspapers get a hold of it and it's so great, and people get so excited. But if you look at what it actually showed, it isn't very positive. So I don't think it's worth it.
Okay, so Melanie dropped in Irene's question. So unfortunately, Irene is giving 24-hour calcium numbers in millimoles per day. And I'm thinking that Irene might be in a different country because we look at milligrams per day here. So I don't know. She is saying that her endocrinologist showed that that was a loss of calcium. I can't confirm that because I don't know millimoles compared to milligrams. Somebody wants to put it in Claude. Melanie, can you put this in Claude and change 6.66 millimoles per day of calcium to milligrams per day? And then 10.62. Her endocrinologist tested her kidneys and confirmed all is normal. So what I do, Melanie, I don't think you have to. I'll just say what I do. When 24-hour urine calciums are high, then I also look at first of all, I look at the serum calcium level. If the serum calcium is over 10, I look at PTH. So serum calcium and PTH and 24-hour urine calcium, if they're all elevated, then I'm worried about parathyroid disease. If the serum calcium is in the right range, actually, if it is if it's in the right range and then the PTH is normal or in the right range, especially with using Diva Boone's calculator, and the 24-hour urine calcium is high, then I think about things like metabolic acidosis. And metabolic acidosis is when either there is too high of acidity level in the body because of either toxicity or diet, high sugar diets will cause an acidic pH. So I'm looking at the first morning pH, and if it's acidic, then I give potassium and magnesium. There's an electrolyte drink, it's called Seeking Health Optimal Electrolytes. And often after a month or so, I can redo the 24-hour urine calcium and see that to come down. So then I have to, if I know that they need more electrolytes, maybe they just need more minerals and more electrolytes, but also maybe they have some toxicity or something that's driving that, and then I try to figure that out. So that's kind of the whole 24-hour urine calcium in a nutshell. Dylan?
Hi, Dr. Millman. Thank you so much. And thank you to Margie as well. This has been great, a lot of wonderful information. I have a question regarding HRT. Do you prefer bioidentical HRT in like a patch or cream form, or something like Bijuva, which is a pill, but my gynecologist is saying that it's as close to bioidentical as a cream or a patch would be, and actually has even gone to say that it's better because it has both the estrogen and the progesterone together. So there's no, with compounding facilities, things could be off. So.
Okay, so I never recommend an oral estrogen. Oral estrogens are associated with clots in the legs and increased risk of stroke. So once estrogen goes through the liver and goes through first pass metabolism, it increases the clotting pathway. And that does not happen with topical or vaginal estrogen. So I never, ever, ever, not ever, even once have I ever prescribed oral estrogen. Not ever. So, so then when I'm looking at, and the level is something like 2 times the normal risk of in the general population of clotting, oral estrogens are at 2 times higher risk. So I don't care whether it's combined with progesterone or not. I would just never do that. Bioidentical it means that so I only recommend bioidentical hormones. That doesn't mean that, so that means that it's estradiol and it's not something like a conjugated estrogen, which OB-GYNs used to give back in the day. That's a lot of where the higher risk came from, was the conjugated estrogens. So if I'm giving a topical estrogen, the pathway or the decision tree for the patient is this. The patch, you put it on twice a week. There could be, if a person is sensitive to adhesive, they might have a problem with a patch. If they're in a hot tub or a sauna or they're sweating a lot, the patch might fall off. If they swim, then the patch might not be convenient. The creams only come from compounding pharmacies. The patches only come from commercial pharmacies. So the patches are covered by regular insurance. And then the creams, yeah, I mean, do compounding pharmacies make some mistakes in concentration? I think that it would be ridiculous of me to say that they never make mistakes, so they could. I work with certain compounding pharmacies that I've been working with for 10 years, so I, have complete confidence in them as far as concentration and being as good as a compounding pharmacy is going to be. So did that answer your question?
It does. One more thing though, the Bijuva, that it is estradiol. So I will say, does that matter? Because it's still okay.
No. Any oral estrogen, no matter what it is, whether it's bioidentical or whether it's synthetic or whether it's a conjugated equine estrogen, it increases the clotting risk by 2 times over the general population.
That's unbelievable information. I can't believe doctors offer that. You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, I won't even tell you what I think, right? Because
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was kind of similar to the other patient.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much.
All right, so here's the deal. It's now like we have like 5 more minutes because, as I said, we put the limit on. So before, just to let everyone know, I just wanted to talk about the course because there's an early bird special. Just so just give them the information when it starts.
Yeah. Okay. So the cohort starts August 15th. And so that's on a Saturday so it starts on a Saturday because that's when we drop in the first bit of content. So contents come in on Saturday into the portal, and then we have the live Q&As on Thursdays. And we have the new peptide module coming out. So there's lots and lots of good information. There's, I don't know how many bonus modules there are. There's 6 or 7 of them, maybe 8. So you get to work on the bonus modules in your own time. If you come in early, like if you come in now, you can start working on the bonus modules. It's just a really great course, and I love teaching it, and I think you guys will feel really supported. And I really don't think that it matters where you start from, that you can get a lot out of it, and that you just build. And if it's too much effort, then you do the effort that you can. And even if you pick up one small thing a week, you're going to be in so much better off than you are in 14 weeks. And, the price is really, I had to price it compared to like how much access you have to me, and 10 weeks of access to me, 2 hours. A lot of people, most of the time, all the questions get answered in that 2 hours, most of the time. And we usually have 120 people in the class, and so anything else that you can think
Well, I
of,
think it's
Margie?
important to let them know how much it is because the price is much less until August 1st. When does the early bird start?
Yeah, I mean, the early bird's $7.97, and then Margie has a coupon, which makes it $6.97.
Great. So the coupon, Melanie, do you have all the information? Well, we'll send it out in the replay.
Melanie did drop it in, and yeah.
Okay, but we'll also have it in the replay. So I think we're going to end questions because we could go on for another hour, and I think 2 hours. We've noticed that 2 hours is really a lot of time, and but I wanted people to get a feel. The other reason that we do this is that people, I think it's good to sort of, if you're going to invest in a program, get a sense of what a Q&A would be like. You get the material, and then you'll discuss the material in terms of a Q. So you just get to understand the level and how Dr. Millman helps people. It's very different when you're in the class because you're working all together and you have information to start with. So is there any?
Helen's asking if there's another Q&A. We usually do this a couple of times a year. Can a person that's had breast cancer take? No. People who have had breast cancer, there are herbs that I recommend that wouldn't be good for somebody who has breast cancer, and I don't think it's responsible to have people that are that complicated in the class when we're talking about hormones. So no, I don't allow that.
Okay, so I think I'm going to put it back to everybody so we can see everybody. Sorry we didn't get to every single person. Oh, look who Marty's here. Marty's here. How many times have you taken the class, Marty?
Marty's here.
From Australia, Marty.
Marty.
Unfortunately, I missed out on asking questions. I've got questions.
Aww.
Oh well, I joined late because I had strength training. So.
Oh, well, good for you, Marty.
Well, good for you. Well, you've had some good improvements, haven't you, Marty? Marty's taken the class multiple times.
Yeah, I hope they've stayed that way. I'm about to do tests again, so.
Great.
Don't say that, Marty. And there's Suzette. Suzette was in my last class. Suzette, do you like it?
Suzette,
would you recommend it, Suzette?
Yes. I was thinking when the questions were coming about the the oral estrogen and the other doctor with the bisphosphonate. Like I knew what you were going to say. I was going to say you wind up knowing more than a lot of the general practitioners after the class, and wondering why they're recommending what they're recommending, and then trying to find good help. So I would recommend it. A million times over. Phenomenal. And I'll be in the alumni group this time too.
Okay,
that's
great to
the
see
problem.
you.
Yeah, that is the problem. And hopefully that's our goal, Dr. Millman and I. That's why we're training practitioners too, because we want to change what's out there. Unfortunately, not everybody comes from the same perspective, or they don't learn all this in medical school, and so they don't have the knowledge base, and it's just unfortunate. So we want everyone to do as well as they can. Anyway, all right. So if you want to write anything in the chat, anything you've gained from tonight, that's always so
So
helpful.
make sure to get Margie's coupon, and And I'll just, if anybody, if the early bird expires on you, call my clinic, tell them you were in the live Q&A, tell them you want Margie's coupon, and we'll keep it. We'll keep the early bird for you.
No, well, that's good. Anyway, everybody, how I always end my classes is we think of a word and we'll just all, so Dr. Millman, you want to pick the word? What word would you like to pick?
How about confidence?
Confidence. Okay, that's a good one. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I hope everybody got something out of today. I'm sure you did. Am I right? You can, yeah. Whenever you're with Dr. Millman, I always learn things. I've become a genius from you, Dr. Millman. No, it's true. You always learn things, and you're always so generous with sharing your information and helping people. And that's why we get along so well, because you have such a big heart, and your goal is to really make a difference for people, which you really do. So on that note, everybody. Okay, so we're going to say bye. Thank you, Dr. Millman. Confidence. Ready? So those three things. 1, 2, 3. Bye. Thank you, Dr. Millman.
Bye.
Bye.
Millman and Margie.
Confidence. Woohoo! Confidence. Oh, unmute everybody. Not everybody's unmuted. Wait, unmute. We have to do this again. Unmute. And we'll just say, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Dr. Millman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Millman.
Bye, bye. Thank
Dr.
you.
Millman.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Richard.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Bye, everybody.
Confidence.
See you guys all soon.
Kitty cat.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Save the chat. Thank you, Melanie. Save the chat. Meeting chat. Why can't I save the chat? Oh no. Melanie, can you save the chat? I can't seem to save the chat here.